I do want to go over the hip flexors. So you can see this muscle, your illiacus, starts on the inside of your pelvic bone and then comes down onto the inner thigh. Here we have another muscle called your psoas. So there's a major and a minor muscle that runs along the same route. However, this muscle starts on the lumbar vertebrae, and then you also, so this is a picture of both of them coming together. So you have your illiacus and your psoas muscles running along to the inner thigh, and then you also have this muscle, your TFL, tensor fascia lata, that's a hip abductor as well as a hip flexor. So these muscles here are hip flexors. They're your short hip flexors, so they only cross one joint, the hip joint. So technically this is your hip joint, but a lot of times people refer to this as your hip or anywhere. But technically this joint right here connecting this femur bone into the pelvic girdle is your hip joint. So these muscles bring the leg up, and you also have your rectus femoris, which is a muscle that starts right here on the front of your hip or your pelvis, and it travels all the way down with your other quads to insert onto the knee. So that is another hip flexor. However, that muscle is also a quadricep muscle. So it's the only quad that crosses the hip joint and the knee joint, which is not pictured here.